Okay, now that I've got my internet fixed here, let's go ahead and run. Oop, it looks like I got rid of a bunch of things here. We can go ahead and scroll down. You guys should have more information, but we left off with PEMDAS. So I'm just gonna do that one over. And that one had, where I did a system, alt.print line. And I had 5 plus 3 times 4 minus 7. And again, we said we have to do order of operations. So it's going to, or it should, do our multiplication first, 3 times 4, then go back from left to right and do the rest of the PEMDAS. So our adding, so 5 plus 12 would give me 17 minus 7. The answer should be 10. Let's run this and see. Oops, sorry, there was some errors above here. There it is. Oops. There's my answer, 10. Cool. So now let's go ahead and look at another one. Okay. Out that print line. And let's look at 8 minus 5 times 6 divided, so that's the slash, 3 plus, now here I have inner parentheses 5 minus 6. And then I'm going to have times 3, and then a closing paren for the entire equation or operation inside the print line, and a semicolon. Okay, so first we're going to do what's in the parentheses. You got a negative 1. Okay, so if you were really looking at this, you'd have then 8 minus 5 times 6 divided by 3 plus negative 1 times 3. So we now have to do our multiplying, our division, and then go back across and do our subtractions. So let's do the calculations. It should be 30 divided by 3, which gives me 10. This gives me negative 1. So now I have 8 minus 10 plus negative 1 times 3. So negative, right? So I should have 8 minus 10 plus negative 1 times 3. So let's first, now we have to do negative 1 times 3, which is negative 1. Oops, I gotta times it by 3, which is negative 3, my fault. So now it would be 8 minus 10 plus a negative 3. 8 minus 10 is what, people? Dun, dun, dun. Negative 2. Negative 2 plus negative 3 is, the answer should be negative 5. So let's check our work. And there's our answer. Awesome. So we can also do some unusual assignments. It's not the same as algebra, but it's something that you'll find in computer science. So I'm going to erase this, so that way we have a fresh screen here. And we're going to do something where we do a new count to an old count. So that's illegal in algebra, in math terms, but in computer science, we do it a lot, quite a bit, whenever we're doing programming. So, for example, I'm going to declare an int. I'm going to call it count. I'm going to set that count to be the number 15. Then I'm going to say count is equal to count plus 3. So remember, your computer reads top down. So as it reads, it's going to first assign count to be 15. And then this line is going to be a new count. So, oops, let me do an error. Assigned value. So what this is saying is, we are saying, hey, we're declaring a count to be the value of 15. And then as it reads down to line, and that's in line 3, and as it reads down to line 4, it's now saying whatever count is, which is 15 plus 3, we're now assigning it to count again. So it's reassigning a new value. So if I ran this, and run, it should be 15 plus 3, and my answer should be 18. Perfect. So this is just increasing the increment by 3 of what count is already. So if I had, let's say I went back up and did count is 25 and added 5 and run this, it puts 25 into count, adds it to 5, or adds 5, so it'd be 30, and reassigns it to the variable count. So that's a little confusing, but that's very, it's very important for us to remember when we're dealing with programming and computer science. So another thing you might see is using different increments and decrements for variables. So I might declare an integer called x. And I might say x is 6. And let's say I want to increment by 1. So instead of saying x equals x plus 1, which I can do, x equals x plus 1, so just like we did above. And if I do a system out dot print x, it should give me that x is going to be 7. I can do this differently. I can, instead of typing x plus 1, I can just do x plus. So this is the same. You'll find when we do programs where your code runs multiple times, using x plus plus is just a good notation. It's shorter. It's something that programming and computer scientists use. So you would have x plus plus. You can also do x minus minus if you want to just decrease by 1. So I'm going to go back. And this is just saying x minus 1. And so the answer would be 5. So that's just an example of how that works. As far as using plus plus or minus minus, it's just incrementing or decrementing it by 1 when you're using multiple operators like the plus plus or the minus minus. So it's nothing too new, but definitely something that is possible. So that's all the things that I want to cover today. There is a small assignment for this going over the information that we covered. So you can start that and we will work on that, the rest of it on Friday. So good luck. You can take some of these and write them in your notes. Otherwise, we'll go back tomorrow and write them down. But just thought I'd get you guys started.